What's going on, everybody? It is Brendan. The channel is Dad Planet, and you are watching the one-man show, although I feel like this should be the two or the three-man show at this point because I am really far behind. Today is a listing day, a photograph and a listing day for me, but you and I went to the bins yesterday. I know you didn't know that, but you're going to watch here in just a second to see what I was able to source. Not every trip to the bins is going to produce a Louis Vuitton wallet or like some spectacular $200-300 item, but I feel like luck favors the well-prepared. So the more often I go, the more opportunities I get to find items that have just as much value. They might not be luxury brands, and this was a trip that was no exception. I found a lot of really nice things to resell on eBay. I really didn't spend that much money, but I like what I found, and I'm gonna show it all to you now. So let's get shopping. These are the leftover shoes from the bins the prior evening, and I just at a really quick glance, I don't see much that I'm interested in. I will come back in just a second, but these looked pretty light. They looked pretty picked over, and I can usually find a couple of pairs right off the bat, right when I get there, before they start rotating them out. They did not rotate shoes in the 2 hours that I was here on this trip. So we're going to take a quick look, but then they came with a set of clothing bins that came out right at the start here. So I'm just going to move over and start there, get some fresh inventory, hopefully items that haven't been totally picked over from the night before. This location's been moving kind of slow lately on their rotations, and it was a little bit on the slow side customer-wise, which is like awesome. Except if they're not moving stuff in and out quickly, it's kind of hard to find as much as I normally do. When I source at the bins, I like to source a minimum of $200 in listed value per hour. It's just an arbitrary number in my head. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. All right, Polo Ralph Lauren, just your classic. That was brand new with tags, by the way. The MSRP on that shirt was $98. It was navy with like a lime green polo, and I'll probably list it for $50 and we'll see what happens. I think that's the going rate for brand new Polo Ralph Lauren, especially in that classic navy color, but that lime green pony was kind of nice. So that was a good find off the new bins here, and we'll just keep moving on. But yes, they've been slow, and a lot of times I source way more than the $200 in listed value per hour here. But on a light day, I'm going to have to be not just selective, but I'm going to have to go through more and do it a little bit faster than I normally do. Stranger Things t-shirts, I don't know that those do very well. So, and that was a really small size, so we're going to leave that behind as well. But yeah, it's unfortunate that they didn't get the new shoes out, because I can usually come away with maybe 4 or 5, 6 pairs when they send the new stuff out. But we're going to keep digging here. And just a lot of mall brands today. I always see lots of Gap and lots of Old Navy. This is a pink sports bra here. I don't know a ton about it. It's a 36D. It looked like it was in good condition, and it's super light. So I'm going to throw that in my cart because, you know, coming away with 3, 4, 5, $15 items here, way more than pays for the trip. Rudis, this is interesting because this is like I feel like that's either a wrestling brand or a lacrosse brand. I don't know exactly. I had those in my cart, but they had some like local school branding on them, so I end up taking them out, and I don't end up purchasing them. But those Rudis like wrestling shoes, that brand sells pretty well. The shoes do. So move over here, and if you search Victoria's Secret pink Ohio State, you'll get, I think, around, I'm going to say 350 listings, but 175 have sold in the last 90 days. And so that's pretty good, 2 to 1 for me. It's not bad. And I've sold Ohio State related Victoria's Secret pink items in the past. So will that like lace necklace style shirt be a bolo or not? It's hard to say. It could go one of two ways. It could either be very, very unique, and I could have the only one on the internet and hope that someone likes it for its uniqueness, or it could sit because it's not a desirable style. I don't know, but because the current listings to sold ratio is 2 to 1, and I've sold a good number of pink Ohio State collab pieces in the past, I'm going to grab that, and we'll list it at $15. We'll see what happens. A lot of t-shirts, a lot of local stuff here that didn't really appeal to me here. Some of this stuff like Seminole Baseball, I'm not even sure what that is. This thing looked nice. The tag was torn off, and that the back like vinyl. That white vinyl was all cracked. I know it's hard to see sometimes with the lighting in this location, but sometimes you'll see me with an item that you think has value in my hands and I leave it behind because it's hard to tell what the condition is. All right, so this is a Nike Vapor hat. These ones that have a color to them, like this is like a reddish pink color, they sell for around 25 bucks or so. So between 20 to $25. I will probably list mine at 25. I can't, it's like a reddish pink color. So there's a purple one I think I sold for 25 bucks. You'll see the comps when I put them on the screen. This is a little cosmetic case from Toomey. It's a collaboration with Delta. It's really only a $10 bolo, but 100 of them have sold in the last 90 days. And Toomey is a very strong brand. It's a very high MSRP brand. And so that thing only weighed 2 ounces. And, you know, if you're buying by the pound, it's $1.90 at my location. That comes out to like a quarter. So it's basically a free $10. All right, this next hat here, Victorinox Swiss Army knife. This is a search and rescue hat. It says equipped on the side. Believe it or not, there's a sold comp for a red one brand new for $75. And I don't see any listed for the style that I just found. And that hat was brand new with tags. So I am also going to list that for $75 and we'll see what happens. Hopefully I will get lucky too. Like I said, the one that sold was red. The one that I had is navy blue, but there won't be anything like it. And hey, if that red one sold for $75, why can't the navy one sell for $75? So I was pretty excited about that because this, I believe, is also the picked over. I can't remember if this is the picked over stuff or this is a one that just came out. But very, very thin. So next, this pair of shoes here, unfortunately, it's got a hole in the side right there, but it's diesel, and I think it's Clawster, Clawster is the style. This would have been a good pickup, and it would have sold probably anywhere between $50 and $100, but there was too much damage for me, and with the hole in it, I'm gonna end up passing on it. I do grab these True Religion slides. I have the first one here in my hand, so you can see they're sort of sparkly with the rhinestone. The style on these is Meyer, and they do sell pretty well. I think with the size 9 here, and they're actually currently being washed along with the pair of shoes that I find here coming up. And so we're going to take a look at the condition of both of these towards the end of this video here. So Ultra, great brand. This is Escalante. They're a men's size 10. They got a little bit of discoloration on the midsoles, but that's not really too much of a problem if you ask me. There is a little bit of wear on the actual soles, but the shoe is really soft. It has a very soft upper, and I think the footbed is also very soft. It's a nice, good under the radar brand. So I'll probably put those on the market for $25. And then there is the other slide for the True Religion slide. So we'll take a look, like I said, at the end of the video. We'll see how they came out, but not really impressed with the rest of the shoes that I see in these bins. And I only gave myself 2 hours in the store, so couldn't stay for the rotation. Move over here. I'm actually surprised that Tommy Hilfiger beanies sell. These, so there's around 70 pre-owned Tommy Hilfiger beanies currently listed, and 30 have sold in the last 90 days. And if you're thinking about this, that's going back into the summer months. So that tells me that those beanies sell pretty well. And with a 2-to-1 list to sell ratio coming out of summer, coupled with the fact that I've seen enough of them sell for $15, that's enough for me to make the decision to take that home and get those listed and put it on the market for $15. I was actually pretty surprised because a lot of the Tommy Hilfiger items that I see that are like, you know, newer, not the vintage like puffer jackets and some of those outlier products that he sells, but Tommy Hilfiger just does not sell well. At least it doesn't look like it to me. Again, outside of like the, you know, the vintage streetwear type of stuff and some of those obvious pieces. All right, what do we have here? Smurfs. So yeah, the pair of vintage pillowcases from the Smurfs. The only issue here is we got a little bit of an ink stain on the top here. Outside of that, they're white, but they were clean. They're clean. So I think I can get away with just that little stain on the top because we have a set of 2 here, right? With Smurfette, and they're doing like a little baking on the inside. But outside of just that little mark, these are really clean. So I'm pretty convinced that because I have a pair here that I could list those for $25. It's got to be probably from the 80s. They were really large, like I don't know if we're making pillows that large these days, but I watched a ton of the Smurfs when I was little. I loved it. I've probably seen every single episode, so that was a fun find. And like I said, I think I'm pretty confident that I can get $25 for the pair here. Next, another brand that I love, Orvis. This is like a belted trench coat. It's a men's size large. I'm looking for like tears in the hook and the loop there. Everything is kind of intact here. Nice thing about this is it's 100% polyester, so it was really light. This is only going to cost me maybe $2 or $3 here this trip, and there's a recent sold for this exact coat and exact size for $50. So that's exactly what I'll list mine for, $50. We have, fall and winter coming up, so what a fantastic find. I'm not sure how that was left behind because, again, they were so slow to rotate today. And, you got people grabbing things maybe they normally wouldn't grab. Somebody left that behind and I grabbed it. Hopefully I can get $50 for it. I will take that. Next is Madewell, just a pair of very basic jeans. I think these are, what are these called? These are called the Curvy Perfect, Vintage Curvy Perfect. The Curvy Perfect Vintage Jean, size 29. I'm surprised at how well and how high the size 29s sell pre-owned for this exact style, because it's just such a basic jean, but they're very clean. And I think the most appropriate price to list these at for me is going to be $30. There's 20 size 29s currently listed pre-owned, but 11 have sold in the last 90 days. So that is good enough for me, even though I'm not, really well versed in Madewell jeans. I like those numbers, and I am pretty confident that $30 is the price to list them at. All right, next here is an Octonauts. This is the Octo alert button. I've actually sold this exact thing in the past. It sits on top of the Octopod, that orange Octopod, but these things get lost easily, and so I'm going to list that for $25 because of how well that little piece sells. And again, knowing, because I've sold that exact thing in the past, that was awesome. So I'm going to go back in here and look and see if I can find any of maybe the Octonauts figures, because those can be lotted up and resold for a high dollar amount. Looking for the actual Octopod would be awesome. That's a big orange structure that would kind of be hard to miss. So I'm looking to see if there's any little figures mixed in here. I don't know that I see any. I'm going to check that wallet, see if there's maybe a $100 bill in there. Didn't look like there was. But the Octonauts is a fantastic brand for resale. It maintains its value, and that little piece, $25, what can I say? Looked like a vintage wooden hammer there. I couldn't find a brand on it, so that could have been something cool, but I'm gonna pass on it since I can't really identify the brand. That's a little Polly Pocket. It looks vintage, but it's not. It's a recent Polly Pocket house. We've got a bunch of those in the basement, so we're not doing too bad. Couple hours in, $20.79 is what I have spent, and $380 is the total listed value. Okay, these are fresh out of the wash. For those of you that don't know, when I'm washing shoes, I try to make it very, very simple. I just put them inside a pillowcase, like a little bit of Dawn dish soap, throw it on a light cycle in the wash, cold, small, short, let the washer do what it does, and then they air dry. So the True Religions came out pretty good. There's they look a little bit wet since I'm still letting them dry, but these look pretty nice. And let me flip the bottoms over. Bottoms are great. Most of the tread's still here, so good condition for those. The Escalantes, now I touched up the midsole a little bit. I just wiped them to try to give them a little bit more of like the white glow since they were so sort of discolored, but this is what they look like coming out of the wash. These are really, this interior is really nice and soft here. This is a well-made shoe, and I can see why people like it. So a little bit of wear on the soles here. You can see right there, there's tread left on the toes, but right here toward the balls of the feet, we've got a little bit of tread wear. So I'm happy to list these between $20 and $25, whereas if they had a little bit more of the treads left, I would probably be listing these for $40, but I think we have a satisfied buyer between $20 and $25 for these. But they look pretty good. Both these shoes came out nice. The Dad Planet family is the best. Thanks so much for tuning in. Brendan here, Dad Planet, the one-man show. Hit the like button if you liked what you saw or you learned something today, and then always consider becoming a member of the Dad Planet family by subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon so that you know every single time I upload a video to YouTube. We're getting really close to 10,000 subscribers. I thank each and every one of you. Wonder who the 10,000 is going to be. It'll be interesting. Thanks again. We'll see you in the next video.